need a podcast.
Yeah, that's right. Rob and Akiva need a podcast number 287. It's the Pet Roast, the highly anticipated episode where we are going to be roasting the pets of our listeners. And here's the man who's ready to pull a, quote, Brian Heidick on these animals.
Oh, no.
Akiva Wienerkur.
That's me. Happy Pet Roast Day, Rob. It's very exciting to be here.
Pet Roast Day. How do you feel about pot roast?
I think it's a B+, Rob.
B+.
It's like good. I would never be like, let's do pot roast again next week.
Yeah.
What do you think of pot roast?
I think it's very mid. I think that I feel like any meat I'm gonna have, I'm not like, hey, can you make it wet and soft?
Like, I used to like when I was a kid, hot open roast beef, right?
Whoa.
Which is basically like it's like roast beef and it's like one soggy piece of bread, I think. It's not like a sandwich. It's like on a plate.
Sure. Okay.
It was like a main delicacy when I was a kid. I haven't even heard about it in like 12 years.
Well, all right. Here's the man who's the roast beef in the Rob and Akiva clothes sandwich today. Give it up for Mike Bloom.
Yes, always bringing the wet meat to every occasion that I possibly can.
Mike, we're so thrilled that you're here.
I'm excited to be here.
Pets.
Yeah, I'm excited to roast these pets.
They're roasting the pets. They're roasting the cats. They're roasting the dogs.
Feel like I'm in Springfield, Ohio already, just baking it all in. But unlike Haiti, we're not out on an island right now. We received so many requests, and I'm excited to get into this. Look, I'm a person that whose life philosophy. I mean, that's questionable. But whose life philosophy is often try everything. You know, you never know until you try. And this is an idea that I am intrigued to see how it will play out. If quite literally punching down on animals will either be better than people or demonstrably worse.
Yeah.
Mike already thinks he's better than the animals. He's saying punching down.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, Darwin was speaking truth hundreds of years ago, you know?
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, very excited to get into everything here with you, Mike. How are you doing, Mike?
I'm doing well. So actually, if you allow me to tangentialize a bit, I know Rob and Akiva Need a Podcast is all about staying on the straight and narrow. I took Asher, my son, to his first basketball game last night.
Good.
Well, very, very, I would not say unprofessional, but certainly not professional in that this was a team called the Harlem Wizards, which I assume are like the minor league Harlem Globetrotters. To the
Timu Globetrotters.
Exactly. And the team came to my hometown to play against the teachers. And so I didn't realize, maybe it's been a while. I did go to a Globetrotters game when I was a itty bitty boy, but this really is like the hibachi of professional sports. Like it's all bits, guys. They're only doing bits. It's an absolute farce. There's some fun feats of athleticism, but they stop the clock every 3 to 4 minutes or so, not for timeouts like we experience now with the NBA, but more so to just do foppish vaudeville acts that you would see 100 years ago.
Yeah. Are they playing against teachers? Are they pantsing the teachers when they're going for the ball and stuff?
No, I was curious about that because I did wonder, listen, they are obviously considerably taller. With one exception, there was an ironically named guy named Giant who was just sinking FGs like nobody's business. But there was, they're considerably taller. And I wondered at one point, okay, are they going to do a bit where they lift up the teachers to dunk the basketball? And I realized maybe in a post-Me Too world, that was something that did not see the light of day. I think my son enjoyed it. He didn't not enjoy it, but my thing is, and I don't know if this is going to be a sign of a vice that I should be looking out for in the future. Asher's, one of his passions in life is math. So this kid spent a good portion of the game scoreboard watching. And it had me concerned that he might have had money on this game. He was watching the spread,
I respect it. I like their Wikipedia entry says, unlike unlike other teams, the Wizards are not primarily focused on winning games. Then it says they hold the second longest known winning streak in all professional sports, over 5,000 games. So they're not even trying to win. They just happen to have
they're basketball players. They're playing teachers.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know if they're playing other teams. This is not even like Washington Generals Harlem Globetrotter situation. It's like they could be playing pets for all we know in some of these games. So of course they're going to be undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
I went to one of these games. It may have been the Harlem Wizards, but it was definitely a knockoff Globetrotters team came to my camp. I think it was part of Color War Breakout. And I remember they played against the staff members, and they asked if my dad would play the patsy. Like if my dad would be like the guy on the equivalent of the teachers team that would sort of be the butt of all the jokes. And I said no. It would be too embarrassing in front of my friends. They had to pick a different rabbi to be like my dad was works in the camp. And I don't know if I regret it, but I definitely would have made fun of. And I remember one of the kids, because it's camp. It's not like a huge stadium. You're basically sitting on the court. When a guy was inbounding the ball on the Wizards, one of the kids pantsed him. He like pulled down his not all the way.
Okay, I was wondering why you were bringing up pantsing because that seems like a very specific
he pulled down his shorts,
loose
not
ball
his boxers,
foul.
And they like stopped the game to basically like don't do that again. He was not it was not part of the action.
Wait, so they pantsed one of the the basketball players?
A kid pantsed a random kid in the stands basically pantsed the guy on the Wizards. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's interesting in that, like, yeah, you like this is their thing, you know, like
Yeah.
you are not supposed to make fun of the clown. Only the clowns can make fun of the clowns in the circus.
Yeah. So Harlem Wizards. Did Usher win his bet? Did he cover?
You know what? I might have loan sharks knocking at my door, so I do fear. I think he went for the under. And listen, these games, there's a reason why they're undefeated. I think it was like 85-78, and then at one point, the third quarter, they just like.
It's kind of close.
They swapped a bunch of jerseys in the third quarter, where then half of them became teachers and half of them became Harlem Wizards. And the teachers, I'm assuming their income like temporarily quadrupled in that moment, and then came crashing back down.
You think the Harlem Wizards are extremely well compensated?
You think they're making much more than the teachers? I don't know about that. I feel like the union.
I mean, I think there are a fair amount of jobs out there, unfortunately, so that are making a lot more than teachers, including the Harlem Wizards.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think Big J and K Dot aren't necessarily taking up second jobs at the Special K on the weekends.
Okay. All right. Well, we got to get into some of these this pet roast here today, and I'm very excited to get into it. I came home from Boston last night, but excited to dive into the pet roast today.
How was Boston, Rob?
Yeah. Fun trip. Nice to see everybody. Almost without a single hitch, and great event all around.
So there was awesome. one Will Smith showed up, is what you're saying.
It was one. Okay. All right. So, Akiva, how's this all going to work today?
All right. So if you're listening, which most of you are, we are going to have a visual. You will be able to listen without a visual element and understand what's going on. However, if you want to see what the pets look like, and Rob will describe them, but if you want to see what the pets look like, there is you seek out the video of this. What we're going to do is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of listeners sent in their pets, and we picked, I don't know if the best of the best or the worst of the worst, and we have a bunch of them that we are going to roast. We got Mike, Rob, myself. We have some guest roasters who are not here but sent in either via text or other means their own roast. So Rob is going to share his screen so you'll be able to see what these horrible animals look like. And we could get going. You want to go random mode? Do you want to just go in order of where they are? Do you want to do it with a funny name? How do you want to start?
I mean, I feel like let's go with the order that you have in the document, because I think that's gonna make it much more organized.
Sure, let's go. So we can start with pet number 1, and that's Jeter.
Okay. All right, leading off.
Number 1.
Jeter.
Yeah, it wouldn't it be more appropriate if it was the second pet we were talking about today?
Not a bad point. Not a bad point. Poorly produced, Akiva. Yeah. This dog does not have a beard, even though it would be legal now for Jeter to have a beard.
Okay. All right. Let's look at Jeter the dog. And we will be sharing the Google Doc. And I could tell you a little bit about Jeter in just a moment. I'm just trying to get. We got a lot of moving parts in the pet roast.
Much like Derek Jeter does.
Does he have a ton of moving parts?
Well,
he doesn't
listen,
have a
his
lot of
parts have been
range.
moving in and out of it. Talk about wet meat.
Whoa.
That butcher shop has been having a lot
All
of
right.
sales.
Enter Jeter the dog. Matt from New Jersey says, I'm submitting my dog Jeter, named after you know who. One pic is her after destroying her bed. The other is right after she chased a skunk and learned a nice lesson. Feel free to be mean to her. I don't think she's a fan. She sleeps in my bed. One night, I decided to listen to RAANAP before falling asleep. A few minutes later, Jeter got up, left the bed to sleep on the couch instead. She came back once I turned the podcast off. Fun fact, she likes to eat geese poop, and the fields by where I live are her buffet.
I'm glad that Jeter has the same RAANAP listening habits as both of your wives.
Oh! All right. Here's Jeter the dog.
Yeah. And by the way,
Yeah.
thank you, Matt, for sending in a real 4K picture of Jeter here.
You're roasting the quality of the picture.
Listen, everything is up for grabs here, folks.
Sorry. Yeah, by the way, disclaimer, the listeners, I've been very clear about this, by sending in the pictures of your pet and saying "and them," that was consent for us to roast your pets.
Yeah. And now I did go and look on some of the listeners' Facebook pages, find other pets. No, I'm kidding. I didn't. I would have done that, but I didn't do that. Jeter, do we have anything on Jeter? Let me start. So Alex Chester wrote in some jokes, amongst other people. Here's what Alex had to say about the dog named Jeter. He says, "You named your dog Jeter. Be grateful it doesn't hump bitches, and then leave them a gift basket of chewed up toys to take back to the kennel the next morning."
Yeah, I was gonna say this Jeter feels a little bit of an improper name because it seems like it can hold down a partner, unlike the proper name.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
I sent every single pet to ChatGPT, Rob.
Yes. Okay.
I don't
know
know
how the audience is going to feel about the AI
the
roasting.
GPT. No, the GPT jokes, the AI roasting, they were good.
Are they like dad jokes?
Well, yeah, some of them make no sense. Like, the AI says, "This is Jeter. She looks like she just got rejected from a dog modeling agency and the mafia on the same day."
Now, did you send in the pictures or just the description?
I did.
Okay.
I sent in pictures of both. I sent every fact we knew about the dog.
Mike, do you think that there's a dog modeling agency? Do you think people like bring their dog to the dog modeling agency?
I think 100%. I'm surprised there's not an Animal Planet show where like Tyra Barks does America's Next Top Dog Model.
That's pretty good. They also said she sleeps in your bed unless you put her on a nap. So not only does she have poor taste in snacks, apparently she has high podcast standards. ChatGPT taking a shot at us.
That was a roast on us.
Listen, we're all in the oven right now. Okay, we're all getting the heat turned up on us.
All right. So that all right. That's our starter pet. That's Jeter.
Yeah.
I mean, Jeter.
We're done with Jeter.
I mean, Jeter loves to eat goose shit.
Yeah.
Much like famous New Yorker Sully.
Oh no.
Jeter ripped up his bed just like the real Derek Jeter ripped up the Balco report.
Pretty good.
Or his tax returns.
Right, yeah. Is this dog also on steroids? We'll never know.
Okay. We also asked friend of the podcast and exotic animal vet Omer Zahir to take a look at some of these pets. And he sent in some clips. And so let's play a clip from Omer Zahir.
Let's start with Jeter. Jeter, pumpkin eater. First of all, hate the name. Secondly, in my opinion, Jeter tried to fuck around with a skunk and got owned. And Jeter's lucky that she just, walked away smelling like shit. Because next, she can fuck around and find out again. She can't take on a skunk like that because next time she'll come away with rabies or distemper or skunk roundworm, which causes brain problems, which she might already have, it seems. And picking on a skunk when you're a dog, idiotic. It's like you fuck around and find out. This is like when Stephen Fishback went after Joe Englund and then ended up with diarrhea and swollen feet. So you're on notice, Jeter.
Skunk roundworm? Is that what he said?
Roundworm.
Roundworm
That sounds bad.
affects
Yeah.
his brain.
Yeah, Mike, was that one of the players on the Harlem Wizards, Roundworm?
Yeah, roundworm. It's like the round mound of rebound, but it's just more a skinny, wiggly guy.
More on that later. The round.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Jeter, Chocolate Lab should probably get sent back to the lab for further testing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Jeter eating the goose poop, of course, obsessed with number 2. All right.
Number two, we got Pancake, Rob. Let's see what Pancake's got going on.
All right. Here's Pancake.
Can you
the
describe for the listeners before you read the description? Can you describe what you think Pancake looks like, please, Rob?
So I could only describe to the listeners as Pancake is a black pug, happy face. I feel like was there a pug in the Men in Black movie?
Oh yeah, the talking pug.
Yeah. This is jet black, happy face, Pancake. My dog Pancake is a 2-year-old pug who loves watching TV almost as much as he loves sleeping. The only problem is he likes to bark at nearly everything he sees on TV, including animals, cartoons, and people in hats. He also loves licking feet and windows, so he's a bit of a freak. He's the best dog in the world.
All right. Well, get this dog a cameo in Quentin Tarantino's last movie, considering that I think he's got something in common. You think he's trolling the feet forums alongside beloved Rex Ryan as well?
Well, he licks his own feet.
Yeah. Is there a wiki feed for dogs, though?
It doesn't say that he. It doesn't, wait. It doesn't say that he licks his own feet. It says that he loves licking feet. There is
That's
no
true. I interpret it as
attached.
his own. Yeah,
that is true. That is true.
Yeah, I gave him the benefit of the doubt, but you're right,
Yeah.
Mike. That they said that he is a bit of a freak. Yeah.
There's no easy way to say this. This dog is the Rizzler. This dog reminds me so much of that little butterball of a boy. And honestly, they might have the same life expectancy at this point.
Oh, no.
Oh my god.
Yeah. This dog looks like there's 4 states he's not allowed to step paw into. Every time Pancake goes to the dog park, he walks up to every girl dog and has the same line. Want to be the syrup to my pancake?
This dog feels like the fake profile picture of a WikiFeet editor. That it's like, I'm not going to show my face. So here's a picture of my dog that's just as freaky, if not a little bit more.
A lot of people send in pictures of their pets in birthday hats, and it was never like a happy looking pet. It was never like, I love wearing this hat. It was like, I don't have hands. How can I rip this little birthday cone hat off? Yeah, Chester says
they tolerate wearing hats more than they like it.
This guy barely looks like he's tolerating.
Yeah, they'll sit there and they think that there's like a treat of coming. Okay, I wear the hat. Can I get the treat now?
Alex said this is one of the stupidest looking dogs he's ever seen. Remember the 90s cartoon, Two Stupid Dogs? It was about this dog looking at himself in the mirror.
I do not remember the 90s cartoons. Mike, were you a fan of Two Stupid Dogs?
Stupid Dogs was a show which was a partnership between a big, dumb, oafish sheepdog and this like little fast-talking Chihuahua. It was basically the Of Mice and Men of 90s cartoons. Just without, the murder.
Rob, Omer hated this dog so much. He actually is the only dog he sent in 2 roasts for. Can we play some Omer here on Pancake?
Okay. All right. Pancake the dog. Here's what Omer had to say.
Oh, dear God, Pancake. I don't even know if there's a nice way to say this, Pancake, but you seem cute, but like you should not exist. You're a pug ugly, short face, short nose, can't breathe, your back sucks, your eyes bulge out of your face, and you get issues like that. Like, this animal should not exist. This is a product of human negligence. And I don't even think there's a greater insult than that.
There's no greater insult than you're a product of human negligence.
I think Omer dropped the mic there.
I was going to say, like, I did he actually physically drop the mic, or did it just include the Foley in there?
Okay, so the second clip also of Pancake.
Side note, owner of Pancake, you should probably get some pet insurance because you're going to need it.
Oh no. Now, the thing, I like Omer. Some like veterinarians, like, I would never roast animals, but he doesn't like dogs, right? He's anti-dog.
Yeah,
And
he's an
most of these are
exotic animal
dogs.
vet, so
Yeah.
he's all about the more atypical pets.
I like
Mhm.
it. I like it. We will get to some non-dogs or cats a little later.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, boy. My dog Pancake, a 2-year-old pug who loves TV almost as much as he loves sleeping. It's like they combined Akiva and Mike Bloom.
Exactly. This is
Pretty
our
good.
child Akiva, down to the not being able to breathe. Though Omer's Omer talking about how, it's short-faced, bulgy eyes, freak that loves feet. Sounds like it's RFK actually. I should take that back to Rizzler reference.
That's pretty good.
Is this the one that has skunk ringworm maybe? Skunk brainworm?
Imagine letting that thing on your couch, your nice couch. You know how much couches cost these days, and this is why I don't have any pets, honestly.
Mhm.
My,
I like the fact,
nobody.
I like
We're
the
not
fact that
letting.
I love that he likes to bark at people in hats.
He's
Yeah,
also
we've got
wearing a
his
hat
mic.
in this picture.
Yeah.
So
It's like
it might be him in the mirror.
well, it's also like it's like a smidge anti-Semitic, maybe.
Imagine if this dog saw a yarmulke.
It's not called Latka. That's all I'm saying.
Mhm.
It's true. If you are not listening, you still may want to check out a picture of our next animal, which is truly the most hideous animal you've ever seen in your life. Let's go to Donna P. Sphinx, Rob.
All right, let's talk about Sphinx the cat. Okay, it's Donna P's cat that she calls it, a hairless hassle. I enclosed photos of my goblin cat. Please roast her to the best of your ability. Her nicknames are Stinky Pinky and Dirty Stinky Nasty because she be musty. I have to wipe her butt once a day, clean the greasy brown gunk from her nail folds, give her bi-weekly baths which she hates, clean up enormous snot rockets, and clean her ears more than I clean my own. She's 7 months old and has already cost me $1,000 in vet bills. Snot rocket machine. She meows for hours at a time and bites my partner and me out of the blue. In conclusion, please roast her. She deserves it.
Yeah, AJ's dog.
I'm sorry,
Cat.
Donna
P.
P is
Sphinx
the name of...
is the official name of the dog of the cat.
Okay.
Donna Sphinx.
I got confused when the pet had a middle initial.
Yeah, it is good. Some of these names you'll see are confusing.
Yeah, and actually, it's interesting. I looked into it. The P stands for "put me down."
Rob, you know the story of Noah's Ark?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if Noah had seen this animal, he would have just sunk the ark. He would have just been like, "All right, let's just put a hole in this thing. There's no reason for any animal life to continue."
Yeah. There's a lot of extra skin and folds hanging off of Donna P. It's giving the moil is running about 20 years late.
I'm actually grateful for Donna P. Sphinx because obviously the Washington Post has shown that we cannot make fun of Jeff Bezos, and now we have sort of an outlet to do so, considering this bald monstrosity that exists in our minds.
It's giving Bezos?
It's giving a little Bezos, like completely hairless, dirty, stinky, nasty. Quite literally bites the hand that feeds it.
Remember Dr. Evil's cat? I think if you're not watching, I think this is that's
Mr.
like
Mr. Bigglesworth? Yeah.
Mr. Bigglesworth. The Allie wrote in jokes. She said, "I've never met a pet owner before that absolutely hates their pet as much as AJ clearly does from her description. I'd respect her for it if she hadn't chosen the world's worst pet. This cat is impractical, bald, and gross, and she requires a ridiculous amount of support for her most basic needs and functions. And if you thought this was leading to a punchline about Akiva, you're the problem, not me."
I'm really concerned about these sanitary habits because isn't the entire thing, and some would even say like there's a gross element about cats as well of like, oh, they clean themselves, a little gross. So is the problem the lack of hair that is causing Donna P. Sphinx to not clean any of the aforementioned gunk that poor AJ has had to subjugate themselves to doing? Like you have there's no like forest you need to navigate, everything's been raised to the ground. You could very easily get in there if you need to. I feel like there's very little barriers to entry for Donna P to just get all the gunk out instead of having your
You could do
owner
it with a wet wipe is what you're saying?
No, I mean, I'm saying you use your own tongue. Can you have an in-home wet wipe? I think it's more so. I think that's more AJ's problem. I think AJ should go on strike. I think you tell the cat to clean her own damn self.
I didn't include it, but AJ posted a picture of herself like wearing the cat, and she looked nice in the picture, but it did make me think: is there a strategy, Rob, of having like the ugliest? You know how like they'll say some women like want to be better looking than their friends, so they'll go out with like a kind of an ugly friend, so they look much better. Can it work with pets where she has like the world's ugliest cat, and then she's just like by default so much more attractive than the pet? It makes you look, it could take you from an 8 to a 10.
But you're not saying that's what's happening here, right?
No, I'm not. I'm not saying. I'm just saying in theory it's a good strategy. People should actually try it.
I like this picture of Donna P. Sphinx in the pink sweater. I think I've seen this fleshlight before.
If I had a pet that cost $1,000 every 7 months, that's it. I'm out.
I would have 0 pets. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else on?
You want to hear? You want to Omer?
Oh, yeah.
Oh boy, I'm sure he has thoughts on Donna P. Sphinx.
Donna P. Sphinx.
We don't have Omer on all of them, but the first few we got a lot of Omer.
All right, here we go.
Donna P. Sphinx. There's not much nice to say about a cat that looks like a stale, dry scrotum. It's giving Amazon Rob.
What?
Cesternino. Not that I would know, but I would just assume. Also, 7 months old, $1,000+ in vet bills. Let me tell you something. Expect a lot more, and that's not even that much. So,
come up easy.
Most people remove the hairy scrotum. I mean, they have their pet spayed or neutered, so I don't know what that says about Donna, but good luck with her. You're going to need it.
Okay.
Rob, look at this shot at you.
Yeah.
Would you like to divulge into how your scrotum was?
Yeah, let me just say, Amazon, a beautiful biome, humidity very high. I would say that nothing was dry in the Amazon.
Well, we know. We saw your fantasies about Heidi.
Yeah. Everything, very, very moist.
Our fourth pet is their pet owner has 4 cats, but they picked their favorite of the 4 for us to roast.
Wow.
Hear about Starbuck, Rob.
Okay.
Oh, a name near and dear to my heart.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about Starbuck the cat. And yes, Mike knows Starbuck the cat is not named after the coffee chain, but the Battlestar Galactica character. This is from the owner. Do you know the owner's name, Akiva? Are we saying?
We are saying for all of them. I may have.
Okay. All right. The owner works from home on Fridays, so it could. Actually, okay.
Yeah,
So it's okay.
Yeah.
That's not relevant information for what we're doing. Okay.
No, I think everyone should have written it to say what their availability was during the during the
I don't know
podcast
if we needed that in the Google Doc.
Sorry. This is from Alex. Alex is the woman who wrote this.
Yeah. All right. Starbuck is allergic to chicken, so she only eats kangaroo. If she breaks her diet, she ends up wearing a cone because she gets super itchy. She spent over a year wearing a cone full time until we got it under control. She got taken from her mom before she was weaned properly. So when she makes biscuits, she sucks her own nipple. Is makes biscuits a euphemism?
Yeah, I think it's for pooping. I think it's a grosser. Okay. It's a really gross euphemism, honestly.
Yeah, making biscuits. Making biscuits. My vet says this isn't unexpected, and that's what nipples were designed for. So be thankful she's not sucking something else. What does this even mean?
I don't even know.
So wait, there's an anatomical question here, if that's the case. Also, that's what nipples were designed for? Just imagine. Now, listen, again, humans, cats, literally 2 different animals. Imagine if you went to the bathroom and made a very different pet, the brown trout, and you decided to suck on your own nipple. You'd have to get put on a list, right? Just by purely admitting that detail. Why is it so run-of-the-mill from this vet's perspective of yeah, you know what? This little freaky kitty, let it do its thing. Everybody poops not everybody sucks their own nipples in the process.
Yeah. Also, getting a little closer to the making biscuit area also.
Chester said, is really, this Starbuck is. He said for the rest of his life, I will think of someone sucking her own nipple while dropping a deuce every time I walk past Starbucks. Thank you for ruining my life.
Well, Starbucks does often make you drop a deuce,
Yeah.
so.
I mean, is the kangaroo real? Is that like a real thing? Can people eat kangaroo?
Yeah, people can eat kangaroo meat.
Yeah, but is this listener in Australia? Do they have to import kangaroo meat?
It's a good question.
Oh, I hope that. I think that's better than the alternative, which is in-home sourcing your own kangaroo.
Yeah.
No, Rob. I mean, I hope you don't get nervous. They live in North Carolina. This cat is walking around.
Yeah, Rob. Don't let your free-range kangaroos into the backyard. They might come snatching them.
Wow.
I love that this cat, whenever she breaks her diet, she has to wear a cone, and then it ends up coming off. So it's essentially like the Kevin Spacey of punishments. There's no cancel culture in terms of pets. No cancel culture.
The cone is like Kevin Spacey?
No, it's just like, yeah, you get a slap on the wrist, and then you'll eventually make your comeback eventually and never learn your lesson.
Did Kevin Spacey come back?
I think he tried to come back.
Mm-hmm. It's like so he's the cone.
He's the cone. He's the cone head.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine you have 4 cats. One of them eats kangaroo. You know how like sometimes I'll be out and my kids will be making a scene, and everyone around will be like, "Oh, thank God!" Like now I'm never.
Yeah.
I have one kid. I'm never having a second. Something like that. I think with cats it works the same way. Like they're convincing me to never have a pet. You got 4, and one is eating kangaroo every day.
Yeah. Do we think that the kangaroos are binding? Is the cat constipated, and that's why it needs to suck its own nipple?
Oh, that's interesting. So maybe it's like trying to like almost contort its body in a certain shape, almost like a self-proclaimed squatty potty, right? To like get your body in the right shape to pass through what I'm assuming is just pounds of colon blockage from just pounding kangaroo straight to the feline face.
This is Starbuck. You're a real champ. They posted a picture of Starbuck watching you, Rob. If you scroll down, there's
yeah.
Looks
like maybe the Starbuck was into the Traders coverage.
No, I did notice that Starbuck is looking away while this is happening.
Yeah, that is a good point. That is a good point.
Okay.
This cat loves, rare exotic meat, loves the traders, loves sucking in their own nipples. It's the Lord Ivar Mountbatten of pets.
Rob, next up we have a 2-for-1. Butters and Shirley.
Okay.
We've got Butters and Shirley from Adam.
All right, here's Butters and Shirley, and we have a mini horse and a chicken. Okay? Yes. The mini horse is Butters, and the chicken is Shirley. The second of my mini horses, the second is another of my mini horses, Breezy. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So Butters and Shirley and Breezy?
There's a lot of options here. A lot of roasting options.
A literal farm.
Mini horses played a major role in the early game of the 32 Fans fantasy football season. Butters is a 14-year-old mini horse who does tricks every summer at the county fair, like a real-life little Sebastian, walking through mazes and jumping over logs. She became famous, albeit, like, I'm going to put air quotes around it.
Yeah, real big air quotes.
During the first part of the 32 Fans Fantasy Football League, when she became our tribe mascot and possibly saved me from elimination. Shirley, the hen, is a red sex link who provides me with 1 brown egg a day, which is worth quite a bit these days.
Has Shirley tried sucking her own nipple to make more brown eggs?
Yeah, I'll provide you with 1 brown egg a day. Okay? All right. Wow, a lot there.
A lot going on with Butters and Shirley.
Yeah. What's the bigger red flag? 2 mini horses and a chicken, or being in the 32 Fans Fantasy Football League?
Okay, listen. Where the hell do you guys get off? We're all losers here. You're trying to be the crabs trying to climb your way to the top of the pot. Who do you think you are? You're miring yourself and trying to stand 3 stairs above all the people in this very fine league when we're locked in the basement, essentially. There's no way of getting off these stairs. Just live here at the bottom of the stoop with the rest of us. I think
Okay.
it's sweet. I love Butters. I love Shirley sans her red sex link. Is that a type
What
of
is a red sex link? Does anybody
Mhm.
know? Is that just like you have,
I believe
that's
her
like
name is Christina Hendricks.
Chester made the same joke. Sorry.
Really? You did make exact Christina Hendricks
Yeah.
joke?
Yeah, the exact same joke.
Mhm.
Allie said anyone who's willing to roast these perfect creatures as a monster should be ashamed. But about Shirley, she says, I can't wait to see what 2 men sitting on their rumps behind the microphone have to say about this hardworking queen dropping egg after egg, toiling in the field. Shirley's done more manual labor in the last hour than Rob and Akiva have done combined in their whole lives.
Oh.
Who do you think drops more eggs, Shirley or Jessica from Big Brother 19?
Very deep cut.
I like that he sent in the random combination of a horse and a chicken. Like this could be some sort of terrible Pixar
2 horses and
comedy.
a chicken.
2 mini horses and a chicken. I feel like I don't know, but I feel like Adam doesn't live in Manhattan. That's my guess. This might be closer to you, Rob.
Yeah. Yeah. Got a picture of the other mini horse also. I'm assuming this is a different one.
I think it's.
Oh,
I think
yeah, that's Breezy.
I think this is Breezy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Omer has what to say about these 2 clowns also.
Okay. All right.
Butters.
Here is
and
Butters
Shirley.
and Shirley.
Okay, finally a pair I have nothing bad to say about, Butters and Shirley. At first I was like, a horse. I mean, that's so white. But this is a mini horse, and they have attitude as fuck, and I love that. So I think that Butters is the horse. Yes. So we're actually team Butters completely. Shirley, I think she's a sweet gal. Don't count on those eggs long term because she's probably going to get ovarian cancer. Debbie Downer, but it's true. But she's going to have a lot of fun in the interim. That's for damn sure.
Wow. Now,
Yeah.
that prediction, is that just do most hens get ovarian cancer? Or he can just tell by looking at the picture?
That feels like is that genetic? Is that due to the fact that they are producing so many eggs? Do you perform like chicken hysterectomies?
Yeah. I don't know. Kind of got dark.
I don't know. I love that Butters is the mascot for the 32 Fans Fantasy Football League, much like Balboa the snake from back in the day. Hope he does not wind up in a bearded man's pouch, dead as a doornail one day.
All right, Akiva, what's next?
All right, let's try a bird. Speaking of Omer, let's go to a bird here. We got Kiwi that I think is a parrot. All birds, I just if they're in your house, I assume they're parrots.
Yes.
This is Kiwi.
Are all birds parrots?
Yeah,
Good
and this made me
question.
laugh a little bit. I'm sorry because she wrote in and said, "Kiwi, technically this was my pet, Kiwi." So,
Oh, well, I was about to
Oh.
say, this bird reminds me so much of David Lynch, and now there's one more commonality between them.
yeah,
Yes. Okay. Did she give it away or is Kiwi RIP?
I think it's R.I.P. She did send in a bunch of videos of Kiwi.
Yeah.
May he or she rest in peace. But that's it. If you see Kiwi, for people who don't know, Kiwi is a green. Would you say parrot? Is it fair to call Kiwi a parrot?
I mean,
Does Omer have a soundbite? Can he clarify what the bird is?
Yeah, he
mhm.
does have one. But a Kiwi is a green bird holding a peanut. Is that a peanut?
Yeah, but they're
Mhm.
holding a peanut like it's about to do a tight 5 at the Comedy Store that's like slightly transphobic.
Rob,
Yes.
Mike, I had the same joke.
What?
Yeah. I even didn't like share my joke doc with anyone. It's like, it's like annoying to see other people's jokes, then you think of them. I had the exact same type 5 joke. Yeah, then we see Kiwi's owner. She's still alive. That is good.
Yes.
What does Omer have to say about Kiwi? Because Omer knows birds.
Okay. All right, here we go. Omer, of course, famous bird lover.
Mm.
What does he say about Kiwi?
Ooh, okay, here we got a parrot named Kiwi. Now, I said parrot, but I bet you Bet you $10 that Rob and Akiva don't know what kind of parrot this is, and actually more
We
than
didn't even
that.
know if it was a
I bet the whole
parrot.
house on it.
Yeah.
And that makes me want to roast them. This is a blue crown conure, and Kiwi is an unoriginal name completely. Like, this actually disgusts me. If I had to see one more fucking bird named Kiwi, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. And I had a budgie named Kiwi. I'm disgusted with myself. So I think that's the worst part of Kiwi. I think otherwise he's king. He looks like he's a little bit sassy. We like that. Looks like we got a wing injury there, and maybe shouldn't be eating a peanut, but A+ otherwise, except the name, which is actually on the owner. So I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you think that Kiwi had a peanut allergy? Is that what maybe did him in?
Pics taken moments before disaster.
No.
Yeah. Also, just a picture, no facts. Like, it's giving catfish.
Yeah, this is Laura's pet Kiwi, and maybe it's too soon after it died for it to
Too
really...
soon.
Is there a better name? Because
R.I.P.
I'm assuming what Omer is referring to is like whenever you try to name a green bird in particular, Kiwi. Is there a better green affiliated name for a pet, specifically a bird?
Justin Fields, I would say. That's what I would name.
You call
it is funny.
Joe in honor of Mean Joe Green.
I never thought about how like the vet is like really sort of judging your name choice when you go to the, and it's not like, at least with a kid, it's like, you name this kid, whatever.
Yeah.
It's after your great grandpa Larry or something. They're really, maybe you should ask a vet next time before you name your pet. It's like, I've seen a million green birds named Kiwi. Who knew?
I mean, I don't know, when you've had, the lovely children that you both have had respectively in your lives, in the process, did you ask like the OBGYN, like, is this a common name? Should I go with a different name?
Yeah.
I feel like they're not necessarily, you're kind of asking like a
Yeah.
Not a bad
construction
idea.
worker to be a garbage man.
I could defer to Akiva, but I feel like that often you don't like look at the baby and then name them based off of like their physical appearance. Right? Like you have a name picked out. Maybe should more people do that with a pet?
That's how Tiny got named.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about Phil. Okay.
Yeah, I figured it would only be fitting if we put a groundhog in here or a guinea pig.
Well, it's a
named
guinea pig.
after, I think, Punxsutawney Phil. Yeah, but it's named after Punxsutawney Phil. We didn't have a groundhog.
Yes.
This
okay.
is Georgiana's pet Phil.
Yes. Okay. He's a male, approximately 6 years old. Pretty sure he has diabetes. We should probably get a definitive answer on that.
Nobody feed Phil, more like.
I also might have diabetes, but
Does the
it's Schrodinger's diagnosis.
Yeah.
We can all have and not have diabetes as long as we don't get it checked out.
Pretty sure he has diabetes, but he mostly eats hay and lettuce, so shrug emoji. Husband says he's a jerk. I think he's just sassy. He has great comedic timing by squeaking to add emphasis to jokes. The kids wanted to name him Groundhog because he looks like Punxsutawney Phil, but we convinced her Phil was a better name. Likes foods, dislikes not being fed. It's relatable, right?
Mm-hmm. Same
Will
here.
chew on anything and has somehow ruined birthday banners, eaten my non-toxic plants, and chewed up his cage. Tolerates costumes and my kid.
I don't like the way she says my kid multiple times here.
My kid.
I feel like there's a detachment when you say my kid. There's pictures that they went to Punxsutawney with this and they dressed it up. They're very into Groundhog Day here. And,
well, I don't think they dress it up as much as they brought a sort of like cardboard cutout of Phil's face on a stick.
Yeah.
And put it in various tourist traps in Punxsutawney.
Yeah, I don't know if they brought the guinea pig to Punxsutawney.
It's just a picture. It's hard to tell. But
it's hard to tell? What do you mean it's hard? There's a stick!
I'm face blind. I can't tell the difference between a face and a stick. I'm stick blind.
Yeah. they have a picture
Oh,
of the
so nice of
animal's
them to bring
face,
their disembodied pet's head to Punxsutawney.
and they put the guinea pig's face on a stick and they put it in front of a statue.
Man, I mean, this diabetes diagnosis is tough. Some lose their feet. Punxsutawney lost his entire body in the process.
And Akiva might be losing his sight.
Yeah. This was one of the worst ChatGPT lines. He said, he's chewed through birthday banners, plants, and even his own cage. This man is not sassy. He's the rodent version of a prison escapee with a lettuce addiction.
Okay. Look, he's got the jonesing for more lettuce.
Listen, who among us hasn't, right? In this economy, we need as much lettuce as we can get.
Mm-hmm.
Is that I think that's one of the least used slang terms for money is lettuce.
I like it. Can we bring it back? Rob, can we start calling dollars and cents lettuce from now on?
Well, I was saying, I think you can bring back your classic Akiva line in this economy.
That's pretty good. I had it for a minute, and then you're right. It didn't make sense, but it's back.
now it's back.
I do love that apparently, according to the owner, the husband might disagree, but that he has great comedic timing by squeaking to end emphasis to jokes. Really the Robin Givens of rodents here.
Yeah. Phil, the only shadow you're casting is the one over the bank account with your vet bills.
Punxsutawney Phil. I don't know. I just think like
it's stolen valor, right?
Owning Punxsutawney Phil will, much like Bill Murray in the titular movie, make you want to drive your car off a cliff if you owned him.
Yeah.
I do, but I like the idea of getting a guinea pig. It's like, I don't love you, kid. I don't love you enough to get a cat or a dog, but here's something that'll hopefully die much sooner. So you could get a guinea pig. Don't expect a new one after this one goes.
It's 6 years old, Akiva.
I know. Well, the joke is on her. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume that my kids couldn't have last. We had a kid once, a
you
neighbor.
Just saw his shadow. 6 more years of living.
Oh no. we had a neighbor give us a guinea pig that they didn't want, and then it was like we had to take it away from our kid a week later. Like, no, we're not keeping this guinea pig. So I think like the same 4 guinea pigs may have been passed around the whole world, and just every sucker parent has to deal with it for a few months before they give it to another unknowing loser.
Well, the good news is if their kid is anything like Akiva, if Phil should, never see his shadow again, you could just replace it with a picture of his head and a stick, and the kid won't know the difference. Then you don't have to make as much lettuce to give the lettuce.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now you know who's being fooled by the AI slop pictures. It's me.
Yeah. Where
you ready for
Wasabi?
Wasabi?
Get a guinea pig costume from? Looks like it's in a slipper.
I was thinking that like the ugly,
I don't know, like
the ugly hairless,
the loneliest person on earth is making guinea pig costumes.
that like the ugly hairless cat before that fit really well. Like it was almost made to order. There must be real. Maybe we should stop podcasting and just go into like making costumes for horrible pets.
Let's. I think I'd rather do 10 more years of RAANAP. I think.
Okay, fine. We'll get to 1,000. All right, Wasabi. Let's talk about Wasabi. Jackie's pet Wasabi, a dog.
Okay. All right. Let's look at Wasabi. Here is Wasabi, a Brussels Griffon.
I feel like Wasabi in that first picture just looked like he got pulled over with lethal amounts of ketamine in his system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What is that? Like that Nick Nolte mugshot?
Exactly.
Wasabi does look like Nick Nolte if you're just listening. And also Jackie says a Brussels Griffon. Think Jack Nicholson's dog in As Good as Gets. Yeah, we were all just thinking about that.
I mean, it's
great reference.
The photo on the poster though is him holding up the dog.
We adopted him from someone who couldn't or didn't want to take care of him any longer. Sabi, they call him. That's his nickname. His previous owners had to get him a. I'm not even going to try to.
No, I want to hear it actually.
Ventricular chordodectomy procedure.
Something like that. Yeah.
It's like 23 letters long.
It's very long. Allie says, don't tell my boyfriend this procedure exists because it removes the vocal cords.
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
vocal cords.
I feel like I get that it's just a longer way of the comments I get every week when I podcast.
Yeah. Pretty awful.
Reducing his ability to bark.
Yeah.
Not
reduces
eliminating,
his
though. It's
ability
only
to
said
bark.
reduce.
Yeah, because he still tries, and he sounds like a squeaky toy. He loves kids and snuggles and getting pampered with spa days and haircuts. Spa days and haircuts.
I will
That's pretty
say
good.
this dog is probably out of all the pets the worst photographed dog. Because between this and look at the next picture.
Is that Star Wars? Is this a Star Wars bit? The next picture, it's like Leia, the baby's Leia, and they're like, I don't know, the other guy with Leia in Star Wars.
The red jumpsuit guy.
I'm so
The red jumpsuit guy from Star Wars.
I'm so mystified. No one wore a red jump. No one wore the red unitard.
This looks
from
like
Big Brother
Star
and
Wars.
Star Wars.
I've never seen Star Wars.
How
but
does this look like Star Wars?
I thought you don't know the picture. There's Leia, and then there's
Someone's
a guy
wearing white, and you say it looks like, it's
She's
from
Princess
1976, and you say it looks like Star Wars.
Yeah, what about this baby is giving Princess Leia first?
I don't know. That's just I thought I was missing a reference here. I thought this was a Star Wars picture.
Let us know, Jackie. Is this a Star Wars picture?
Is this a Star Wars picture, Jack?
Was this like the worst version of the butterfly meme I've ever seen?
Yeah. That if you're listening to the podcast, I can tell you this picture is a baby, baby on its stomach. The baby is wearing white.
Yeah. So far, so
Princess Leia did wear a white dress.
Exactly.
Okay, so if I showed you a wedding photo, would you say, "Oh, it's giving Star Wars"?
Is the other person in red with the little belt thing?
No one is wearing red in Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, there were some like Imperial guards that had red.
Yeah, it was from like the new trilogy, but otherwise, no. Red was only a color seen in lightsabers. Less so. They're really not a red garment in the galaxy.
And the dog is wearing like a red onesie.
The unitard, the Big Brother unitard.
Telling you, big money in that onesie.
Actually, this dog does kind of remind me of Sheila Kennedy from Big Brother 9.
I could see it.
Ma.
Chester says, "Let me get this straight. Someone owned this ugly runt, found it so annoying that they paid for an unpronounceable 25-letter surgery just to get it to STFU, and then they foisted it upon you. Smart move by the previous owners. By the way, you know why this thing is named Wasabi? Because you have one tiny bit of it and then gag and toss it in the trash where it belongs."
Rack him. Wasabi.
Yeah, I think I like the nickname of Sabi because this dog wants you to leave it in a Sabi and drive the car off a bridge.
You want to hear what Omer has to say?
Do we have an Omer on Wasabi?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
My God, Wasabi. I was coming in hot. I saw the pictures of this animal and thought this is the ugliest effing animal I've ever seen in my life.
Stay tuned.
But then I read the sad story about the vocal cord removal, and we're really giving Susie Smith here from Gabon, and I just feel so bad. So Wasabi forever.
Yeah. Was this Corinne's dog, do you think?
Well, yeah, exactly. When you can't have when Susie did not accept the offer, you had to have an animal, unfortunately, accept. And I think much like Susie Smith, I'm pretty sure Wasabi did shit in a bathtub as well.
Oh my God.
Pretty sure that's an urban legend. That's people said that Susie pooped the tub. It's a random Gabon tidbit.
You're deep in the Survivor historian lore. I never even heard that before.
And it was weird was she was sucking her own nipple while she was doing it.
Oh no.
I'm just making biscuits.
I think we got to get out of this Wasabi one. Let's go to Baris, number 9, a dog that makes Wasabi look like Heidi Klum.
Okay. This is interesting. Baris, okay, look at this guy. Now, Baris is loosely named after Liana from Science, Mike's co-host on the B&B.
How loose is it? Do we know it? Do we know what that is? Baris a Liana reference, Mike?
I would say it's the opposite of whatchamacallit's bowels, the kangaroo eating cat. In that's how loose it is. So it's Liana's last name is Boris, Boras.
That's what.
And
okay,
then they took that.
You were struggling to understand what the connection was?
I just read it now, honestly. It didn't occur to me. I thought, it took me a second.
It would be like if they named the dog Van Zakili.
That I would have gotten.
Yeah.
No, but this is more so like an A to C than an A to B. So it'd be like if they named the dog Van, and it was like, oh, after Puya. It's like, I suppose so, but Boris isn't also a name. Like, it's not, you're not necessarily
Correct.
naming it after somebody.
But it's a homonym. Is that right, Mike?
It is a homonym, but I guess, is that enough of an homage to make it, hey, I took your name, but I made it sound like an actual name instead of just naming it your last name?
I like ChatGPT's intro to this one, which was, let's roast this knockoff Muppet into next week. And then said, yeah. But by the way, do you think Akiva would work, like Wienerkur? If people are naming their dogs,
if it was a wiener dog, yeah, I think so.
Wienerkur, okay.
I don't know, because I feel like the thing about pet names, from my perspective, is that it's got to have quite literally a pet namification to it, and that like it needs to roll off the tongue if and when this dog looks like it's done something bad, which I will say this dog does look like a deviant in many different ways. So like you gotta be able to be monosyllabic or like diasyllabic to just call the name off the tongue. I don't think Wienerkur, it's too long. If Wienerkur's running into the street, by the time I try to get through that name, that dog is unfortunately on its way to the other side.
You have a wiener dog and you named it Akiva. That's what it should be.
Yeah, exactly. Or Wheels. Wheels would be fun.
Wheels. Yeah. A 3-year-old schnoodle, a schnauzer poodle cross. He does not listen to the podcast. He doesn't do much listening, period. It's kind of a roast joke.
This is, can you describe what the dog looks like, though, Rob, to the listeners? Because it's a pretty unique looking dog.
This is our Nick Nolte dog.
Yeah. It's like, imagine it's kind of like a Scooby-Doo, but like with more of a shaggy haircut.
Yeah.
Zoinks!
If Scooby-Doo had a lot of CTE, basically. He looks,
it's like Scooby and Shaggy's inevitable love child.
Yeah. It also kind of has a faux hawk also in the picture.
It's just having a bad hair life, I think, this dog.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if this is their normal style of hair. They might need to like co-opt one of Wasabi's apparently many haircuts to get this thing looked at. This makes Alfalfa look like Dr. Evil.
This dog also, like, it's 3 years old, but it looks like it's seen some stuff. It could be 20 years old, and I'd believe it.
Well, yeah, we do have a costume pick that covers up perhaps the massive cowlick that it has.
Yeah. Forget cowlick. It's going for like a cowboy look here.
Little hat.
Got a hat.
Little bandana.
A bandana. People love a bandana around the dog.
Yeah, this is Halloween. Having fun.
You could tell?
No, I'm assuming, unless this is how the dog dresses to go to work.
Oh, you know what?
Day,
maybe that should be for Donna P. Sphinx. Have you thought, AJ, about tying a bandana around your cat to prevent any detritus from getting into it?
I like the word detritus, but
I did have a thought about hairless cats. Now, obviously, it's something that they're going for, both genetically and aesthetically. Has anyone ever tried to make like wigs for cats?
Like a merkin?
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking, of like, it then prevents gunk from getting into the skin folds, and that there is now this sort of permeating barrier to intercept all these things. And then if it does get filled with all of this aforementioned detritus, you just remove it, wash it, and put it back on. Especially if this lazy-ass cat is not necessarily going to groom itself. This is a way to kind of cover it in some sort of protective layer that could also be aesthetic as well. You could give it the punk mohawk. You could give it a slick back Wall Street type of look. You could give it the Rachel, the Felicity, anything under the sun.
Well, okay, Mike, you might just have cracked $1 billion business. Bring it to the Sharks.
Good. My son put me in a lot of gambling debt last night, so I need get rich quick schemes.
What if you shaved the dog, but then had a bunch of different wigs for it?
Exactly. And then, we saw how much a toupee gave George Costanza confidence. Like, imagine how much confidence Donna P is going to have once it gets a cat wig on.
Yeah.
Donna P is really the star of the show here.
Was bald.
Donna P and the nipple suckling cat are really the two MVPs of the show.
We got a bunch of stars coming up soon, but the next one is not a star. I wanted to include one black cat. Walk past one black cat.
Okay.
Here.
Okay.
So let's take a look at our friend Zion, Marissa's pet cat.
All right. Here's Zion. Okay. And here's Zion, age 6. He has a saggy belly from a surgery when he was young.
Who among us?
He loves going outside and playing.
By the way, I did ask for stuff, and like that's the equivalent of a woman saying like, "I love tacos and travel" on her Tinder profile or whatever. Going outside and playing. That's don't give us anything too good to work with.
It's the fish pick from a male perspective.
Yes, it is the fish pick here.
So there is Zion.
What do you think on Zion? I wrote, if this is Zion, then consider me an anti-Zionist. There should be protests at every college against your stupid cat.
Saggy belly from a surgery. Usually you get surgery to remove a saggy belly.
Is there like a cat Zempic or something? That's not a bad idea, honestly.
I feel like there are. Well, we found out from the cone cat that they can stick to diets if they want to. So maybe that's the issue.
Mm-hmm.
Good question. Is there cat Ozempic?
Is there?
I feel like I'm going to be
Okay.
on some sort of list after this. Ozempic is a human medication and should not be given to cats without veterinary supervision.
Good to know.
They only write that after someone tried it and they need to update the log.
Exactly. So you're saying there's a chance, though.
Mm-hmm.
Chester says he looks like Zion Williamson with the saggy belly. By the way, I don't know what you have in your house. Mike, do you have a pet?
I do. I have a dog.
Okay, but in every one of these pictures, I see a Christmas tree and then like a bunch of like stockings.
Kind of weird for a dog to be named Zion or a cat to be named Zion in a house with a Christmas tree.
It's true. Yeah, I think, but it's just like I do feel like these people are getting, you see like one human stocking and then like the 6 pets they live with in every background.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much the pets are into the holiday spirit.
Yeah.
That like the pets are the rare breed, quite literally, that are able to escape the capitalist shackles that we all occupy currently. Like, they don't need birthday gifts. They don't know what a birthday is. They don't know what a day is. You're going to be able to benefit from that. Save yourself the money in this case.
Yeah. This might have also been a holiday card for Marissa.
If so, I've returned to center. I don't know about this pick. I'm seeing like a barely lit black cat in front of a tree that generously looks like it's covered in pipe cleaners with 2-3 stockings hanging.
Yeah.
Do you know my theory that all cats are Scientologists? It does go here with like the fact that she's not so into Christmas.
Praise
every cat is a Scientologist. They're not religious. Dogs are very religious though.
Yeah, the cat vest does a nice job of hiding the unseemly saggy belly, though.
She's like covering that pouch in every picture.
Yeah, there needs to be like a feline girdle.
Yeah, it's very slimming.
Well, they say that black is slimming, so I guess of all the colors the cat could be, I think it makes sense. And that I didn't see the paunch going on in any of these pics.
Mm-hmm.
Though I don't know, maybe we see in the first picture, Zion is curled up. Maybe Zion is very, I don't know, like self-conscious about it and is always trying to like mask their humble traits, Do
you want to move to a much bigger pet? We got a real size horse. We had a mini horse before. Now let's go to Trinity, our real horse.
Okay. All right.
Sarah's
Here's Trinity. It's okay.
Oh, why the long face? Because we have to roast this horse.
Yeah. Here is Trinity. Trinity, we have 2 pictures of Trinity. One is wearing a Santa hat that says naughty, naughty, naughty.
Naughty,
why did it say Nady?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I don't know if they make horse-specific hats for Christmas.
Maybe not a big business. My horse, Trinity, her show name is Mischief Managed. She's the reason that I'm broke. She's 15 now. I had her since she was 3. She's been on a diet since she was born, and somehow she still ended up with horse diabetes.
Every one of these pets has diabetes. It's like every listener's whole life is the pet. It's like, yeah, I messed up, though. Sorry.
Well, listen, horses love sugar cubes. Now we see the other side of that. F around and find out.
And when Sarah says that show name, she means this is a stripper horse also.
Mischief managed.
Yeah, take off those shoes, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Have me making glue.
This was probably my favorite ChatGPT joke. She said, "Oh, my horse's name is Trinity. That's a fitting name because she's the holy trinity of financial ruin, disappointment, and diabetes."
All right, ChatGPT, you got us on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Trinity. I do think because it's funny you think of people who own horses as being very rich, right? But I think there's like a rich person, poor person for horses where like no middle class people really own horses.
That's the
Mhm.
thing.
It's
It
just
really, yeah, it's almost like the Escalade of animals, in that it's like, okay, either you blew all your money on this huge luxurious vehicle, or you have the funds to sustain that in your
Mhm.
garage. There's no in between.
Yeah, there's one very sad pic of Mischief Managed. I assuming jumping over. Otherwise, this was like the final picture, jumping over this like little mini barn thing.
Again, taking moments before disaster.
Yeah.
And also, like, I don't love a horse as a pet. Like, if the pet can't live in your house, it's not really a pet. It's like an investment. It's something totally different.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. It's like a living asset.
Yeah, it's basically just like it's like a
Wait, so
cousin.
then when your children move
Cousin.
out, what do you consider them? I mean, they're not pets, but like,
I mean, we already had this conversation, but they're I don't know, they're on their own.
Okay.
Yeah, this was Trinity. We got 11 down, Rob. You having fun so far?
Yeah, so far. How many more do we have to go?
We do have 11 more, so at some point we may have to go to a lightning
oh,
round
that sounds
here,
like
but,
when I was watching The Matrix. Speaking of Trinity, how many more? How much more
Yeah,
do I have to
you
go?
could skip a lot
but
of
honestly,
them,
they
yeah.
get better because the listeners who did
Unlike The
an
Matrix.
awesome job in this episode.
Yes. Okay.
It gets better as it goes. So we got
Okay.
some real winners or losers
All
coming
right,
up.
but we still got to get to a mailbag.
Yeah. Well, it's a long episode. We got to get going.
Okay. All right. We're going to go to the next one.
Yeah, let's go to Basil, pet number 12 here.
Okay.
Basil.
All right.
Basil.
I don't think it's Basil. This is Basil from Muncie, a 1.5-year-old English lab. He has lived in Muncie his entire life. Fun fact, his favorite movie is the Barbie movie. He is obsessed.
Yeah,
That's
Muncie, Indiana, not New York. A year and a half old English lab.
quite literally a basic bitch. Loves the Barbie movie.
I wrote this is the only dog that has its pronouns on its doggy dish. This dog looks so woke that every time he goes outside to poop in your grass, he does a land acknowledgement to the Mamiyaki people that came before him. I did look up which tribe lived in Muncie, Indiana.
Oh wow, Akiva, very very honorific of you. I will say that first pick, I will say, given a lot of Star Wars to me.
Yes. Which Star Wars is
True.
this to you,
Well,
Mike?
of course, the classic one with in white.
Mhm.
And
I
by the
think
way,
he's the Easter Bunny.
yes. In case you didn't believe that that Basil is really into Barbie, Rob, if you scroll down, there is a picture where Basil is engrossed in the Barbie movie. The VJ was not lying.
Mm-hmm.
All right, just
He's,
one
like, praying
unicorn
to it, I
latte
think.
from being a 22-year-old girl. And just similarly has no job prospects.
Yeah. Dogs don't like Oppenheimer better?
I think too many loud noises.
Could we? Is there a thing where like dogs like Barbie, cat likes Oppenheimer? Could we start that?
Maybe. Could see that. It's a little more dark and brooding.
Yeah, that would make sense as well. And it's all about I think the cats would be more invested in the study of the proliferation of nuclear warfare, as opposed to this dog that's just like, I want to watch Ryan Gosling jump around and sing.
Cat would be a great companion in the nuclear bunker until it eventually eats you. I think for a while, though, I think the dog is going to want to go outside.
I think, but I don't, if you had to eat one. Anyway.
What's the preferable pet to have during the nuclear apocalypse?
Turtle. They'll survive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think the cat is built for it, though.
It's interesting.
I think, the cockroach would obviously be the most, but like, who Who wants to have a cockroach as a pet? Who wants to have a bug as a pet?
I'm surprised that we don't have more of those in the what the listeners sent in.
I know we didn't get any bugs. I wanted more. We did get a lot of fun pets, but we didn't get anything really completely.
Mhm.
I
nuts.
mean, if you have a bug as a pet, that is just, I don't know, a sign of sociopathy. Like, bugs are willingly living inside of your house that you often try to pursue.
That sounds like a
getting rid of.
cousin. Yeah.
Yeah, so like, why would you want to then keep one captive as well? If the entire point of, of pests is that you don't want them inside of your door. So then say, but I
Mhm.
will domesticate this one. This one's different. I can fix him. Sounds like a exercise in futility.
Yeah. Okay.
You want to go to Cronut lucky number 13, Tara's pet cat Cronut.
Okay, Cronut.
Oh yeah, much like the famous pastry should have gone away 10 years ago.
Yeah, Allie said Cronut is a perfect name for this cat. She's massively overrated, visually unappealing, and waiting in line to get her would be a huge waste of time.
Okay, well, let me tell you about Cronut. This is the former feral rescue tortie Cronut.
Mhm.
Her middle name is Garbage. Her shelter name was Renemy, like a baby in Twilight.
Oh yeah, and much like Renesmee, this cat looks like she did chew her way out of her mother's womb and killing her in the process.
I don't
She's 12
remember
years
that
old.
line, but we may have watched Twilight on 3X.
Cronut has a mean RBF. She
Mhm.
likes to scoot her butt on toys, particularly in front of company. So embarrassing. Cronut has allergies and asthma, just like her mom. And she gets an inhaler every evening. How do you give an inhaler to a cat?
Oh, there's a picture.
There's
of it
a
if you
picture
scroll
of it.
down.
Oh.
And honestly, it's the more preferable way. Honestly, if she keeps the inhaler this way, if the cat lives this way, it's probably the more preferable way to take in the cat.
Mhm.
This is the way you get rid of that RBF. Just obscure it with a big-ass inhaler.
She's very bossy and likes to chomp on toes when she wants food.
Okay, well, get her alongside the toe-sucking cat, and you got a show going on.
On WikiPaws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got an Omer on Cronut here quickly if you want to
All
play
right.
it.
Here we go. And here is Omer.
Oh my God, Cronut. My God, look at that face. It truly looks like she was just taken out of the garbage can. So the middle name is appropriate. I will say she looks extraordinarily miserable here. This is like she's been tied to a chair and forced to watch a hell loop of Survivor Redemption Island, South Pacific, Nicaragua, on repeat. Then, when she thinks it's over, they put on Island of the Idols. She also is giving like the Shapira tribe having to listen to Rob's jokes for 12 days.
Oh!
They had enough.
This does kind of look like the Sue Hawk of cats.
I could see it. That if I ever came across you lying on the side of the road, dying of thirst, I would not bite your toes.
I would let the chickens come and eat you and lay their brown eggs on you.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's go to Ginger, Rawan's pet gingerbread cookie, aka Ginger, the toy poodle.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like that Rawan should not send this dog in. This dog is too cute for the pet roast.
To me, it's risky. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
because
also,
I feel like Rawan likes Ginger. Some of these people understand what they have. I don't know.
Yeah, there is some sort of element of like, please roast my pets. They're truly awful. And this is like, I think this is more so a challenge. This is like,
Well, she said, I dare you to find something to make fun of her about. She's 5.5 pounds and looks like a stuffed animal. She's also crazy smart. She loves chewing on socks, getting belly rubs, and playing tug of war. Allie wrote, she loves chewing on socks, and she's also crazy smart. I'm starting to worry about Rawan.
She rings the bell when she needs to go outside for dirty business.
Is that biscuits time?
Yeah, making biscuits.
Well, either that or like she's got some gentleman callers at the door.
Dirty business.
Dirty business.
Okay, then maybe that's how we find our loophole here. This dog may or may not be an escort.
She only pees on the lawns of people who have dogs. I think she does it to show the other dogs in the neighborhood who's boss. Rawan also claims she's a huge Eagles fan.
Okay, well that's the roastable part.
Okay, well maybe took a little bit of a hiatus when Michael Vick was quarterback.
That's true.
I
Checked
mean,
out for a couple seasons.
Dirty business could be called the tush push as well.
Yeah,
not bad. All right, This is a cute dog. Let's go to I like the next one, Clarabel, Rob.
Okay. Let's go
Clarabel. You see
to
at least one familiar face here.
Okay. All right.
At number 15.
Here's our great friend Sean with Clarabel.
And for people who don't know, the left is Clarabel, the right is Sean the mailman.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Clarabel is a cow.
Mm-hmm.
Is a mini Hereford. Should be about 38 to 40 inches tall and fully grown.
Oh,
She
like
loves to
Akiva.
be brushed and to be around people.
Yeah. So, first of all, I didn't think of a cow. Like, is a cow really a pet if you're ultimately going to eat it or something? I don't even know if that's.
I get
really
the
a pet.
sense that
I don't think they
Sean is going to
understand
eat Clarabel.
Otherwise, you name this like you name it tenderloin, right? Like name the thing. There's a lot of talk in freakonomics about like naming your child, about the fate they might ultimately have in life.
Yeah.
If that's the case, just name your animal what you want the final product to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's sort of the antithesis of what we were saying before about look at your kid and then name it what it looks like. This is now, what do you want it to be?
I don't know. I didn't know I knew there were like dwarf cows. Like, this is going to be a 3-foot tall cow. I will say the cow is really posing with Sean for the picture.
Yeah, it is a mini Hereford.
Yeah.
Just a baby, only 3 months old.
But it's going to grow only to 38, 40 inches. That's still a tiny cow, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Like half a steak from one animal.
How do you measure cows? Because they stand on 4 legs. How many apples tall is the cow? Are we measuring from when they're like upright or not?
Yeah. This could be the first animal that goes from the pet roast to pot roast. Okay.
Thank you, Sean. All right. Rio, a Frenchton.
Her name is Rio. I want to bury her in the sand.
Rio is a Frenchton, a Boston French bulldog. I didn't even know that was a thing.
You see any of these in Boston last week?
I didn't see any in Boston.
No?
I saw a lot of duck boats, which is also kind of like a combination of two things. Car and a boat.
Real good A to B there, Rob.
Yeah. She seems to also have some frog, goat, and cat in her. She loves yoga poses and lays like a frog with her legs out. She can't control herself, gets way too excited when meeting new friends, and seeing old ones, has been accused of being on crack on multiple occasions. She loves to snuggle under covers and steal my son's stuffies to claim them as her own.
There's a picture of her doing yoga also if you scroll down here.
Okay.
I mean, that's a very generous way to put it. Doing yoga. She does yoga the way that like the woman in the White Lotus did yoga, barely, and also probably having other things on her mind.
Alex said this dog has real Jimmy Fallon energy, and by that I mean it as a huge insult. This is a dog that would laugh hysterically at his own jokes. He looks jittery, overly excited, and I'd question his relationship
friends
with
are here.
alcohol.
Oh, amazing!
This dog has my energy.
I mean, this does feel like the dog that would have cost you outside of Port Authority. Like, hey, you got like $3? I'm a little short.
It is true. Alex says, "Making your children look at this face is child abuse." I think it's kind of cute. It also looks like it has only two legs in this picture. The right things are hidden. Also, Star Warsy.
Yes. Very, very much giving Star
Wars. Yes, of course, as we know. There are a lot of people with 2 legs on Star Wars. You are correct. You can say that about basically any other thing in human history.
Okay. Did Omar have anything on Rio?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But next up is a little girl.
Okay.
We have to roast little girl soon because time is running out on little girl. They are a boy and they are 17 years old.
Okay.
What, baby Jessica, time's running out on this little girl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, yeah. If you're listening to the podcast, I can tell you that a little girl is neither little nor a girl. Yes. 17 years old. Fun fact, on video calls, I've had people ask if there's a baby crying in the background. I've had to explain it to my cat. I would estimate, and now maybe the hair is not doing this cat any favors, but I would estimate this cat is about 30 pounds.
It's fat. It's a fat cat.
It's a fat cat. They say a cat has 9 lives. This cat has 8. Every meal in sight.
That's pretty
including
good.
probably the child that it swallowed that's making all the human noises in the background.
That is a little scary. Alex says I refuse to roast an elderly cat with a hilariously nonsensical name this close to its death. It doesn't seem right.
Mm-hmm.
GPT says, at this point when she meows, I don't hear her cat. I hear the sound of a funeral dirge playing in the background. She's got one paw on the grave and the other on the last catnip toy. That's mean, Chat GPT.
Maybe the person who got that, who did that dog vocal cord surgery needs to give their number to the owner of Little Girl, because I think
Little
that,
Girl. It is a very funny name for a big boy cat, Little Girl. It's like Tiny, the giant Tiny in the basketball game. Yeah, I think that's it on Little Girl. You want to go to Bernie?
Yeah, I mean, I will say, well, Little Girl's nickname is LG, and I think even with the shitty service that LG provides to their owner, still better than the phone company proper.
You
All right.
You must get to a screen and look at a picture of Bernie, because Bernie is well, Rob, why don't you read
Bernie,
how its owner described Bernie?
He's the one looking like a horny cartoon wolf, according to its owner, and Harry.
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah, looks like it is in the middle of catcalling a woman wearing a G-string on 8th Avenue.
Yeah. Okay. And Bernie is a 3-year-old Bernese poodle mutt. Fun fact, my mom adopted him after his prior owners brought him to the shelter the day after Christmas. We can only imagine what havoc he caused to deserve that.
I would like to see a documentary about how, like, the dog that ruined Christmas, the next day they're bringing it back.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote, Bernie looks like a grandpa that goes to a restaurant and thinks he's allowed to grab every waitress's butt and then pretend he has dementia.
Yeah, exactly. Bernie looks like that uncle who says, "Why can't we say blank anymore?"
It is a great picture.
Yeah. He's not named after Bernie Sanders, right?
It is possible.
I mean, I would say the more so the dog next to him is doing the grumpy Bernie meme.
Mm-hmm. But he's got kind of like scruffy hair.
And even this dog also has if you scroll down, has another birthday hat picture.
Oh, these dogs with the birthday hat.
They love their birthdays.
Yeah.
I guess they don't get as many of them,
Yeah.
so it's big. It's a bigger achievement.
You know, the birthday hat and the dunce cap are pretty similar. Kind of opposite meanings, though.
That's a good point. Most of these dogs have actually had dunce cap birthday hats. That's a good point.
Yeah, which came first, do you think? Do you think there was a community that tried to reappropriate the dunce cap of like, this makes us look stupid. Instead, we're going to celebrate it.
Honestly, the dog hates the hat so much. When the dog is bad, you should have a dunce cap for the dog.
Well, the cone, is it not?
Yeah, I mean, we have all these people putting the cones on the dog, but I think this is a great idea. You want to punish your dog? Put it in a dunce cap. You can't do it to your kids, but you could do it to a dog.
Wait, hold on. You can't do it to your... Okay, fine. You can't do it to your kids anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I do like this idea almost from an opposite perspective, though, of like, I'm going to punish my kids by having them wear a costume. Of like, you feel so uncomfortable wearing this outfit, but you've got to because you didn't do the dishes.
The olden days knew what was up. That's honestly pretty good. We should bring that back.
Dunce cap?
Yeah, or like if I was bad when I was a kid, my parents made me walk around in a Yankees jersey, I probably would have behaved, you know?
Okay. All right. Akiva.
Yes.
Are we ready for... Let's talk about Charles Barkley.
Yes, a 13-year-old lab beagle pit mutt.
Okay. Wow. So many combinations of dogs.
A lot. I think that makes
they get around.
Dogs, it seems like.
Yeah. This dog was found in a dumpster.
Probably next to the man that he was inspired after.
Okay. Much like the real round mound of rebound, he does not give an F about what anybody thinks about him and will do whatever he wants. He has not had a moment's peace since 2016 when I adopted another dog who is obsessed with him. He loves the tennis ball. He once woke up in the morning and was unable to walk. We were positive he was going to have to be put down, but then he miraculously recovered after a few weeks. He's 13 years old, but he's still moving and grooving.
Allie said, does the dumpster take returns?
Yeah, I guess like Charles Barkley also, he did have a full rebound.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they're also both about to be put out to pasture, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Charles Barkley was known for putting up double-doubles, which is probably what this dog has eaten so much to look so corpulent.
From In-N-Out Burger?
Exactly.
Alex said, Charles Barkley, this dog is absolutely terrible. Terrible. You should have left him in the dumpster where you found him. He looks like he lost a fight with Draymond Green. If ugly and stupid were sports, this dog would be the MVP.
Yeah. This dog's collar is kind of like bling, right? He's got like
It
a very
is.
like...
It is. I do like it. Yeah. He's like the gang leader or something. He's got this nice chain.
I will say, much like the man proper, this dog does look like he would spit on a young girl.
All right. Charles Barkley.
That was Charles. We got another geriatric
Does he bark
dog.
a lot? Is that why he's Charles Barkley?
I think
the punny name came first. Like, for example, my dog's father was apparently named Yorko Ono. And listen, I gotta respect it. My glass house is in smithereens at this point. I can't say that I wouldn't also want to give my dog a punny name and then see if the personality develops from there. Maybe Charles Barkley wouldn't be the best, but hey, maybe they bet on it and lost out on it, much like the man proper.
Did Yorko Ono break up the Beagles?
That's pretty good. Yeah. And also, if I was spelling it, I would just do like capital B-A-R-K, Charles Barkley. And but yeah, I don't know if this dog is that bad, honestly. We're being a little mean to it, but 13 years old, found in a dumpster. Congrats to him for having such a long run.
Mm-hmm.
Can we take a look at Luke, the geriatric poodle?
All right, Luke. You think it's named after Star Wars?
Oh, there's such a Star Wars aesthetic to them. They are white.
The geriatric poodle.
We don't know anything other. I asked for comments, but we don't know anything about Luke other than it's a geriatric poodle. Alex says
this
Luke
is more like Luke in what was it,
Force
the Rise
Awakens.
of the Rise. What was the eighth
Last
one?
Jedi. Last
Jedi. Sorry,
that's my favorite one.
And actually, he looks like he would be one to complain online about The Last Jedi.
Yeah, Alex says Luke looks like the dog version of a Karen. He absolutely walks around the dog park following the darker dog.
Give me some blue milk.
Oh, no, I can't even read that.
Luke looks like 75% of the House of Representatives.
Okay.
Yeah. ChatGPT said this dog's been through so much his DNA test just came back with the result. Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Geriatric poodle Luke. This is real. You should check it. If you're listening, you should look at Luke. This is one of the oldest looking dogs I've ever seen in my life.
Okay.
This dog looks like it would go to a diner from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and just order black coffee for 12 hours straight.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with that?
This dog looks like it would be played by like Frances McDormand in an Oscar-winning role.
Frances McDormand. Final dog of the day, Rob. Unless you have something else on Luke. We got Dwight.
I have Omer commented on Luke.
We got Omer on Luke. Let's do it. We got the ugliest dog coming up.
A geriatric poodle. You know, Luke doppelganger looks exactly like Jane Bright. But specifically when Jane Bright is around Mr. Barty, that's the look that this dog is giving.
Jane Bright is a dog breeder.
That's true. And this dog does look like she's looking for someone to pay for her mortgage. My dog house needs payment.
All right. You ready to talk about Dwight?
Let's talk about Dwight, whose owner calls him a singularly ugly dog of unknown ancestry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they say every dog has its day. This dog's day is 9/11.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Dwight looks like he was drawn from memory by someone who's never seen a dog before.
I know it's a pet roast, but can we roast our listener who sent in not only a picture of his dog, but an opened can of Mountain Dew stashed away in the console of his car?
Yeah.
Yeah, baby, emergency dew.
Respect, Barbara.
Part of the problem.
You never know after you're hitting the substance and looking like wasabi. If the cops pull you over, you gotta chase that taste out of your mouth real quick with some of that dew.
Do you think an open can of Mountain Dew should be viewed as like half a DUI?
Mm-hmm.
Like they give you like a few points on your license. Yeah.
It feels like Dwight actually looks like the equivalent of the shriveled up sperm that's in this person's balls from drinking all that Mountain Dew.
Oh no.
Well, this person does not have balls, but it's a lady.
Okay. All right. One last pet.
One last pet. Saving the oldest pet for last.
Mm-hmm.
Lord Voldtor.
Okay. All right, we will say its name. All right. And here he is presenting Lord Voldtor. He's a real jerk. Parents, don't buy reptiles for your kids. I rescued this guy from a person who thought a tortoise that lived 60 plus years was an appropriate pet for a 9-year-old. His kid lost interest in months, and now this a-hole is going to be at my will. He has a TikTok, Life of Lord Voldtor.
Okay, well, older, an asshole, has a social media presence associated with Harry Potter. Is this not J.K. Rowling, the tortoise?
He also, according to the owner, a-hole things he does, he tries to bite the owner, everyone, hiss, and had a history of sexual assault on another turtle.
Who among
Pretty
us?
bad. Yeah. That is pretty bad for this. But listen, they've been around a long time. The Russian tortoise.
Yeah, it's just set in his ways. They didn't call it that back then.
Yeah, Russian tortoise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I didn't think about, like, you have to literally will this dog to somebody.
Yeah. It's
Or
giving Slytherin, Mike.
Yeah, it's giving a little reptilian here. I mean, I guess Voldtor makes sense due to the lack of nose, which makes sense because clearly the person that owns this turtle does not have taste.
Yeah.
If my kids got this pet, I would accidentally open the back door and let it out.
I mean, you're gonna have to leave it open for like an entire day.
I know. We'd have
is.
to go away. I'd have to leave open the back door and then take my kids to Disney World for 10 days or something and hope it got out.
And you come back and it's 8 feet away.
Well, I have a Russian tortoise. Back in my day, we just called that Mitch McConnell.
All right, you want to hear what Omer had to say about Lord Voldtor?
Oh,
Sure.
yes.
You know, it's really rare for a tortoise to be an asshole. They're very nice animals for the most part, very sweet. So for Lord Voldemort to be an asshole, he must be really like the king of assholes. And I see you have another tortoise here possibly. And so the rule of thumb is always that the asshole is going to outlive the nice one. And that's just straight facts. So, and in this case, might even outlive the people too. And you know what? Maybe he'll give you salmonella while he's at it. That's a true king right there. I'm team Voldemort.
Only the good die young, they say.
Out of context, still makes sense for Omer to say he's team Voldemort.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. And that is the 2025 Pet Roast.
All right. And thank you to everyone who sent them in. There were so many. I had a whole listeners wanted a speed roast round, which we didn't have time for. But if we ever want to do this again, Rob, we still have dozens of very, roastable pets in the hopper.
Okay. All right. With that, are you ready to visit the mailbag? Mike, are you sticking around for the mailbag or you got to run?
No, I'm here, baby. I'm running like Voldtor is, and then I'm moving very slowly.
Yes. Okay. We are blessed to have Mike Bloom for the mailbag when we come back after some quick sound from, of course, one of the great pets, our friends, Peppa Pig. Okay.
Is Peppa Pig a pet? I'm pretty sure she has her own self-sustaining society.
All right, let's go to the mailbag, okay?
Is a child a pet?
Okay. All right, here we go. Mailbag number 287. If you're just joining us, boy, you missed one hell of a pet roast.
Yeah. Rewind. You could rewind still, right? To the pet roast. But then when you're back here, we got 5 ideas. What episode is coming up next week? 290 to something?
It's episode 287. So I think next week will be 288.
Okay, 288. Last time out, we did not
get 290 something if you want.
No.
Like a Shoots and Ladders situation.
Could you do episode 290X where you guys try a fitness program?
It's not bad.
I like it.
We have to what's it called? Last time out, we did not get anything even close on the wheel. So let's see if the listeners did a better job.
But our bad idea bracket was fire.
Yeah, the bad idea bracket was good. Last week's or the last episode where we did a regular mailbag wasn't so great. So please send in ideas. We need, we need a whole new batch of good ideas. Please send them in.
All right. Akiva, you ready? You got any
Yeah.
old business? We'll go right into it.
Let's go right into it.
Number 1.
Number 1.
All right, this is from our friend, the physicist, Jim Crumley.
Okay.
And this is called Baby Roast. He says,
No.
how are you? I'm
Too
well.
soon.
This is a good idea for the sequel mechanism. I'm sure that the pet roast is going to be an all-timer. So let's get the sequel on the wheel as soon as possible. The format could go in several directions. People send in their own baby pictures of their kids. We're just focused on baby pictures of RHAP personalities. We're roasting babies.
Mike, should we be roasting babies? They're roasting the babies.
Yeah, exactly. Well, first off, I feel like that's just more so aren't you just co-opting the name of probably a Lifetime special, roasting the babies, about some sort of true crime story about a housewife who's driven a bit too far and turns the oven a bit too high up. I think it's a little bit of a bridge too far. I mean, I think the fun thing about roasting pets is that, like, they have fun, visible, and behavioral qualities to them. Babies are essentially blank slates. Especially, you know, if we're defining baby, because I know that people sometimes will refer to babies with an elastic age to them. If it's more
My
so
46-month-old.
Exactly. If it's like, hey, take a look at like a 1 to 12-month-old and razz it, there's not gonna be much fruit on the vine there. Much like the fruit that they probably will not be able to eat during that portion of their lives.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that's why we should roast children who have a lot more, like, quirks and things than babies who have almost nothing going on.
I would agree with that. I think you could do like a elementary school roast where it's all kindergartners through grade 5. Though I don't know, maybe you actually do a teenage roast, not only to get it more so to like the age of consent, but also because teenagers are the moodier ones.
We can't roast people's kids. That's
it.
I
mean, what if the kids are saying, please roast me? Our children listeners.
So this is like that, like, subreddit where people are like, what is it, like, roast me?
Yeah, roast me.
And then people go like, I still don't think we should do it.
You think it's too mean?
I think it's too mean.
In the Facebook group, if you like, hey, you could roast. First of all, what if it's roast me as a child? Like, hey, I'm an adult. Here's 2 pictures of me when I was 13, and here's some facts about me. So we're roasting young versions of adults. What do you think about that, Rob?
Okay, so that's be fun because that's sort of a combination of like,
Rob.
give me the most awkward childhood photos of myself, or let's turn the mirror a bit on this whole generational aspect. What about roast my parents?
Let's see how this is received first, I think.
Fair. But I don't think we'd get canceled. I do think
interesting ideas. I think as the most interesting to me is the roast the young pictures of me. It's like, I'm consenting to this, and it's not me. You're not roasting me now, but like, if it's somebody who we do know their future, it's like, look at how much potential this kid had, and they went on to waste their life doing podcasts. You know,
no, but they're consenting to it. But
I mean, there's entire, you know, novelty books that have been written about, like, you know, ugly school pictures. Even if you just go down that route, I'm sure you will have a meal to make of it.
Let's just see how the listeners like this one first.
Sure.
I think,
okay.
Before we green light the sequel. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they might have been planning Snow White too, but, you know.
I hear what you're saying.
Okay.
But they came up short, much like the 7 Little Men.
Number 2.
This is from Eric D, and he said, and this is called Rob and Akiva Have Ideas. So every week, Rob, listeners submit ideas, and you and I, and occasionally a Mike Bloom-ish guest, will opine. Mike Bloom type, as they say, will opine on those ideas, and if we like them, we will put them on the wheel.
But isn't that the mailbag?
Yes, yes. The onus is on. Well, I'm not. This isn't the pitch. This is the amble or the preamble. I think there's only preambles. There's not really a lot of ambles. So every week, Rob, for people, this is their first episode. Rob and Akiva analyze the ideas, and we decided to put them on the wheel. But what if the turns were tabled? The tables were turned. Rob and Akiva pitch ideas for RAANAP episodes to a guest panel that harshly critiques and rejects Rob and Akiva's ideas. So we have to come up with mailbag ideas, and there's people who would basically have to approve our ideas. Is that what he's saying?
This more so just kind of feels like penance than good podcast material. This could be more so off mic of like, now see how it feels. I don't know if revenge is the best fuel for content.
Like, who are these? Just strangers? Are these people that just like don't know the
Yeah,
podcast?
who's
Or
on
these like,
the tribunal here?
are these like it's a panel of people who have had their ideas rejected
I
multiple
think so.
times?
I think it's like listeners, frequent submitters who maybe have, a bone to pick with us.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Can any of them be available at 7:30 a.m. on a Friday?
Well, we know one person can
Mhm.
from the details that were mentioned in the pet roast.
I'm sure we could get.
Ooh.
If you like the idea, we could get the people at 7:30.
Here's the fun thing. Ultimately, turn the tables. What if the panel is made up of the animals that have been roasted over the past hour and a half?
That's not bad. If the
Yeah.
animals came back to us, I didn't include any snakes.
It's not my favorite idea, I have to be honest.
Then let's not do it.
Yeah. I felt like that we got great feedback last week from an episode I really like doing, which, Mike, I don't know if you caught this one, but it was called Rob and Akiva Have News for You. And I knew it was a little bit of a provocative title that people were going to be a little scared.
Smart. You put it in the thing. Don't be worried.
Yeah, don't worry. But Akiva and I just read the headlines. We went through the news, not that we skipped, we didn't do anything political, just talked about like what's happening in the world.
I mean, listen, everything old is new again. I think Jay Leno, the window has elapsed. I think we can bring in the headline prospect back. I actually sincerely really appreciate that subhead that you put in, because it's the equivalent of like when someone calls you and you're like, oh no, what happened? And then they'll text you like, no, not a problem. Just like, got to talk through some stuff. Like providing that immediate context instead of trying for me to occasionally do what I do and fill in the blank space around the question with all the worst possible things that can happen. So that's a very fun
literally
idea.
had the news for people.
And it's fun. It's a way to get,
Maybe we should call it Rob Akiva Have the News for You.
Yeah, but I think it was fun, and I think it's very repeatable. We could do that once a month if we want. For like that's, I enjoyed it. I think we got nice feedback from it. All right, let's go to number 3 here, because this is an interesting idea we got also.
Number 3.
That is connected to the news. So, Rob, do you know what Kalshi is? Kalshi?
No. Is it a cereal?
It's not, even though it sounds like Kashi, the cereal. Both of you can go to klshi.com while I talk for a second. Kalshi.com.
It's not like a lemon party situation.
I'm not getting you canceled.
This is a goatsy. There was no goats to talk about, but maybe goatsy.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. What is this? Live betting odds on things?
Yeah. So this is ideas from Gator, and it's called Rob and Akiva Go to Kalshi. Rob and Akiva Go to Kalshi. It's a legal betting exchange that I'm sure Akiva's familiar with. Yes, very much so. And they place bets on upcoming events. So you could bet on movies, climate, technology, sports, politics, even a Rotten Tomato score of a movie. You could bet on anything. Ooh. It's a legal site, as long as it's available now. And there's just thousands of different things. So we could, we could have discussions similar to last week, but then maybe place bets on some random things. I don't, maybe we each have to make 10 bets.
Okay, so I'm looking at the culture section because I feel like that would probably be the most neutral in terms of things you could bet on.
A lot of Rotten Tomato scores.
A lot of Rotten Tomato scores. I did see one that was interesting. Top U.S. iPhone
Will Northwest
app tomorrow.
drop an album this year, Rob? Yeah, that's a daily bet. Will Northwest, Kanye and Kim's child, drop a Spotify album this year?
I mean, she had a huge coming out party at the Lion King show in where was it? The Hollywood Bowl last year.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, is this more of a 32 fans idea? Do you like this?
It's definitely more of a 32 fans idea. I just feel like that. Can we find enough fun ones to potentially bet on?
Well, it's
measles cases this year above 5,000 or above 4,000. What should we do?
I'm hammering the over. I got also, that parlay with RFK staying in office. So
should we parlay it with new pandemic this year?
Well,
and
how
will
do they
Trump
even
ban lab-grown meat?
How do they even how? I would like to know how they classify new pan. You know what I mean? Like, if it's like who's going to win the NBA Western Conference? I see like that. I know who's going to win. I don't
right. There's
there's
pre-existing information that you can bank on, and I guess this is more so reading a current trend. I feel like if you could find like almost a like a co-op version of Kalshi where like people are submitting bets, I feel like that's where you'd find the more wackadoo ones. I think these are a little too honestly on the rails.
I like. Will the U.S. reopen an embassy in Syria this year. I just like the idea that we could care about these things that normally we wouldn't care about. Like, imagine me texting you like, in your face, Rob, the U.S. Syrian embassy opened again. Like, one of the nice things about betting is it makes you care about things you wouldn't necessarily otherwise care about in some cases.
Yeah. Akiva,
but,
new Star Wars movie released before 2027, yes or no?
I mean, to Akiva, every movie is a Star Wars movie if they're wearing white.
It's true. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm hammering a bird flu pandemic right now.
Third Mamma Mia movie announced. What do you think, Akiva? Yes or no?
I'm Mamma Mia. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Will an AI-generated song be on the Billboard Hot 100?
Yes, because inevitably, a la The Brutalist, it will come out after the fact that there's some sort of AI element, right? Like, as long as there's some skosh of it involved in there, then I think it counts.
I don't know.
Who will be the next James Bond? Nobel Peace. We can bet on the Nobel Peace Prize. There's a lot of fun things to bet on here.
Who's the #1 contender for new James Bond?
New James Bond? Well, it's small, but I think Aaron Taylor Johnson at 16% appears to be the favorite.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And I don't know how fun this is.
Yeah, this might be a 32 fans idea.
I think so. It sounds like a great 32 fans episode. Okay.
Maybe Alex.
All right.
I'm not just don't tell my son about this site. I don't want to further his habit.
Yeah, can I bet on the what is it?
The Harlem Wizards.
Harlem Wizards. Okay. Feels like they're really like trading on the Harlem Globetrotters to be another team from Harlem.
Yeah, and it's also confusing and I think this was the point, right? That they're like obviously naming themselves after a currently existing NBA team as well, so that like I'm pretty sure the jersey
they used to be the Harlem.
They came first. Yeah, they came first.
But I do think that they do sell many things, including a quite pricey purple basketball that I bought my son that is, twice the size of his chest width, but they do sell a lot of jerseys.
Is it an oversized basketball you're saying, or are you saying that
for him?
Yeah, for him, but it's a normal basketball.
It is a normal basketball, though it is quite big as well. Maybe it's me outing myself for having not handled a basketball for the better part of 3 decades.
We don't know if it's a novelty size basketball or it's a normal size basketball.
Right. I need to really line it up in another room with basketballs, and I can't.
How much is a purple basketball? $40.
Slightly lower, $30. A cool $28 plus a couple of bucks off the top because the PTA was working so hard that night. But they did give away novelty jerseys as well that just said Wizards on them, and I'm like, well, it could be like a nice marketing for the colorblind to think that they're accidentally buying a Washington Wizards jersey without realizing that it's for their Harlem knockoffs.
Surprised they don't have the they have the trademark there. By the way, if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, taking your child to a basketball game, that sounds like fun. My wife texted me a picture yesterday while I was at work of a basketball in a toilet, and the toilet was missing the toilet seat. My 3-year-old demanded to go to the bathroom himself, and then somehow decided to dunk the ball in the toilet and then break our long broken toilet seat that was finally fixed by a plumber. The toilet itself was broken just days after it got fixed. So
making baskets while making biscuits. Slam dunk.
Oh, I blame Skibbity Toilet. I think now all these kids have this fascination with what lives in the toilet that they're willing to break everything to get to what might lie underneath. And so I feel sad for your poor toilet seat.
Okay, let's go to number 4.
Number 4.
Yeah.
All right, let's stick with the children theme. Let's do this one from Joy. Rib and Akiva, I assume they're not. That's not a nickname of yours. I assume it's a typo. R is next to O. I is next to O in the keyboard. Rib and Akiva are rich children. Rob and Akiva watch the Richie Rich and Blank Check movies. Maybe one watches the other, or they watch on 2X, or they both watch. And they pick who the better 90s rich kid is. The 2 rich kid movies of the 1990s, Richie Rich and Blank Check. Rich
Mike,
children.
Which is the better of those movies?
Well, so Blank Check, is more so kind of a rags to riches thing where this kid winds up with a blank check and can do anything he wants with it. More of like a, hey, if you had all the money in the world, what would you do? Richie Rich is more so kind of like a Succession story, to the point where not Kieran Culkin but Macaulay Culkin, recent Hollywood Walk of Fame recipient, is the star. So I think, honestly, in this day and age, like, I feel like there's a non-zero chance like Luigi Mangione would have gone after Richie Rich if he was realistic.
Wow. Yeah, Richie Rich is like when I was a kid, it was like Bill Gates' son. That's what it is, and they have like a safe and amount. Not to spoil it, but
Now, was Richie Rich a nepo baby?
I mean,
definitely.
I would
Yes.
imagine so. I don't know where he's getting his wealth otherwise.
Yeah, I don't think he earned that money.
This kid like shorting the stock market as he's
He is like
short himself.
trading, I think, but
Yeah,
he's got
maybe
like
he's
a
on
butler
Call
named
Street.
Jeeves.
Yeah, maybe he got.
Yeah, you've never seen either one, Rob? Blank Check or Richie Rich?
I don't think so. I would watch Richie Rich.
I think your kids would like both of them. I don't know if we could incorporate like a 5-minute review from our sons or something, but
Could there be sort
they
of
both
like
hold up.
Could you do like a Macaulay Culkin marathon? Not marathon, but watch a couple of his movies then? Maybe focus it around the actor instead of the concept?
Yeah, I would do it if it was called Rob and Akiva Get Richie Rich Canceled.
And what are we doing? We're just
talking
Richie
about that, where this guy, unless maybe has it gone completely the other way, where it's like, hey, Richie Rich should not be canceled. We uncancel Richie Rich.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he lost all his money in the stock market anyway in the last few weeks.
There's a sequel movie called Richie Rich's Christmas Wish. Sounds like a tongue twister, but I think Culkin's out.
He never comes back for the direct-to-DVD sequels.
No, listen, he's above that. It's very understandable. Yeah, David Gallagher is in it.
There's a good cast, and I think Larroquette is. Well, I don't want to say who. Whatever. I don't want to spoil.
John Larroquette.
He's definitely in Richie Rich. Yeah.
Yeah.
John Larroquette.
I mean, what if we decide if Richie Rich should be canceled?
We could also do Blank Check might be better. I wonder if it's like one of, I don't know, is it better to like be born rich or to come
have
into
riches thrust upon you?
Yeah.
I'm not as interested in Blank Check.
You're not as interested in Blank Check. I think Richie
Rich
is
existing Blank Check IP.
I think Richie Rich is also like they did a nice job of like making it very believable how rich they were. It is like kind of directed pretty well for a movie that probably has like a 5.2 on IMDb or something. It was
1994 film.
Yeah.
Yes, John Larroquette
that was like
does come back.
Height of the Bill Clinton economy. Everyone was ready to luxuriate. Richie Rich was a man of the people. Now it's more so eat the Richie Rich.
So I don't know what it's. I'd like to watch it. I don't know what it's called though.
Maybe you could do like a rich movie, poor movie, where you watch like Richie Rich, and then you watch like one of the most podunk bottom of the income bracket family movies.
What's a movie about poor people? A feel-good movie about poor people.
That's like every movie.
Disney movie about poor people.
What's a movie? Here's what came up: The Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith.
Of course. Speaking of which.
Les Mis.
Yeah.
The movie Poor Things. I don't know.
Okay. I think that if we don't have it, I think that let's see if the listeners can kick something back to us on this.
Okay, cool.
Okay. All right. Whoa.
Number 5.
This is from Laureen. It's about our friend Brandon Donlin, who I assume is going to send us some pet roasts the second we finish this episode.
Sure.
It'll be much better than anything we said here.
Brandon Donlin makes games for Rob and Akiva. She says the title is pretty much the concept. I mentioned this to him. He's on board. Do you want Brandon Donlin to come on, make some games, and we'll play some games at Brandon? Were you gamed out?
I'm not gamed out.
I think it's been a while since you did that. Of course, I was on the initial game night podcast back in like the early days. It feels been a while since you've done that.
I mean, yeah, I think it's fine. It's like Rob and Akiva let Brandon Donlin cook. I think that's basically.
I think he knows the show. Yeah, I would do it. He knows what you like. Also, he's not going to have 32 people come on.
Like Brandon Donlin presents game night.
Yeah, I think that unless he can have a guest come in and surprise us, like he knows not to like book a million guests.
Yeah,
All
right, Brandon, let's do it.
He knows what will work. Yes, let's go, Brandon. Okay, all right. Remember that. Okay, all right. Uncle Kiwi, you ready to hear what's on the wheel?
Let's
for next
do
week.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Okay. So here we go. Let's open up our wheel app That's what we use to spin the wheel. We've done it for 287 episodes and more non-canonical episodes than you could count. And we've got season 3, episode 7, the coin flip, the guest choice, listener's choice, good year, blast from the past, pet roast is done. John Quick, guess the draft, Rob and Akiva are chronically offline. PSAs, Rob and Akiva win an Oscar, the newly met game, Back to the Future commentary, Rate My Fridge, regrets, I have a few. Does Akiva know it? And we just added Let Brandon Cook. Okay? All right, there we go.
You said you wanted to call that
everything.
episode "Let's Go Brandon," right?
No, I didn't say it. That. Mike said, "Let's go, Brandon."
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I mean, I think if you're looking to attract a certain clientele to the podcast, then I mean, to be fair though, when we said pet roast, I'm sure maybe some of the clientele was curiously tuning in as well.
All right, here we go. Let's spin the wheel for our next episode. Here we go. Round and round we go, and it's coming up. Rate My Fridge. Oh wow!
Ooh, a fun one. That's a good
so
one.
You've got
Pet
sort of
roast and Rate My Fridge back to back.
Yeah, I was gonna say you've gotten two basically
Hot
back to back.
April.
Hey, here's a peek into my life. Debase me, daddy.
Yeah, Mike, how's your fridge?
I would say it's fairly well stocked. You know, I think
Whoa.
with yeah, it sounds very euphemistic, and that's because it is. But I would say that having a 5-year-old, you know, there's the only select amount of foods that he has, and so it's pretty much stacked to the nines with that, with occasionally a few other random elements thrown in. We don't necessarily, you know, in having someone who likes to engage in habitual spring cleaning, we don't necessarily have the quirky oh my god, these meatballs from 2017 are still here. But I'm sure the listeners are very much the exception to that.
Yeah.
So
Okay. I've got some fridge material, but I'll save it for next week's episode.
You're gonna put it on ice
when we put it on ice as
it's a weird week for me. I don't know if you know about this, Rob, but we basically have to completely turn over our fridge for Passover, which is starting tomorrow night.
Oh. Okay.
And so it's like everything's out, and then the Passover
and
stuff.
After.
We might. I didn't take a picture this morning, but yeah, it's not. Maybe my daughter did.
That was the 11th plague, right? The angel of death came and ate everyone's food out of the fridge.
It's true. So it would be very different looking this and much emptier this week than on a normal week. But yeah, we got to get rid of everything basically.
We'll also accept if somebody works in an office. Sometimes an office has a
good
fridge.
That's the much better one. That's the much.
Do you want? Most of these will be sent in very similar to how people did the pet roasts,
fridge roast.
The fridge roast, but do we want 1 or 2 live fridges? We could sort of get surprised by what's in the fridge, go through
Hey, if they can make the time that we are going to record, I don't mind it.
Beautiful.
I don't want to. I don't want to.
We're not going to move
plans.
We're not going to move
with my family on a Saturday for the fridge roast.
Would you accept people's not only sending in photographic evidence but video evidence? If they do an MTV Cribs style.
Yeah, we can watch a video.
Here's what's in my fridge.
That's great.
Because I imagine that something that's going to be also very fun is scrounging around to the back of it, right? Being oh, so that's what that smell is.
Yeah.
So are you guys
where
big,
should they send what?
Are you guys big baking soda in the fridge, people?
I think my wife would throw it out. I would do it.
You're asking the wrong guy here.
Yeah,
I think they've now created their own product. I think Arm & Hammer were basically okay, we understand what you're doing here. This is not how you're supposed to use baking soda, but I think now they've officially invented a literal deodorant that's just branded to Arm & Hammer. That's not baking soda.
Is it weird that there's a company Arm & Hammer and then there was Army Hammer who joked about eating people? Did that hurt business possibly? I don't know.
It's a good question.
It might be a little coronavirus, Corona beer adjacent.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say more so Arm & Hammer, Hammer and Sickle. Was Arm & Hammer suffering during the Cold War?
And so if people want to send their fridge, I really like the threads that everybody made in the Facebook group. But if you want to keep it fresh and nobody else sees it, need a podcast at robiswebsite.com, or you could tweet or DM at Keeve26 and send us your fridges. Especially if there's video, send us a clickable link. And we will play those next week on Rate My Fridge.
Okay. All right. Akiva, what's coming up for you?
32 fans this week. We've done these fantasy games where we have a topic and then we immediately do a draft. It was guessing players who've made the most money in baseball and basketball the last 2 weeks. We'll do an NBA playoffs preview hopefully early this week. And NGOG, we're getting ready to start the final season. What about you?
Home stretch. Okay. Well, how's about Mike Bloom?
Yeah, Mike.
Well, first off, thank you for having. I'm just trying to remember the last time I came on to RAANAP, and feels like forever, yet it feels like a day. I'm so happy to
Mike,
have
one
you
of the
guys.
first guests we ever had on the podcast.
That's right.
And you
We
still.
started this podcast giving Mike new dad advice, and now look at him. He's buying overpriced, oversized basketballs for his degenerate gambling son.
Which proves that I really needed that advice. Yes, I think that I needed to.
Did
You
the
guys,
advice take? I don't know.
I think it took about as well as some of the food that people are going to be leaving in their fridges that they'll show off next week. No, this was good.
Mhm.
I mean, I hope people enjoyed this concept. Listen, as a
Look,
pet owner,
Asher was still in utero at that point.
yeah, I think Asher was, I was not drinking Mountain Dew, I'll say, when I was,
Yes.
in the process of becoming a new dad, as given advice on this podcast. But this was awesome.
Before Asher Bloom was born on Star Wars Day, Akiva's favorite day of the year.
And he did come out white, so it truly was Star
Wow.
Wars in so many ways. So you can follow me at a Mike Bloom type. I'm doing my usual, repertoire of shenanigans. So from a reality TV perspective,
No.
doing Survivor.
I see you talking to celebrities on my Instagram constantly.
Yeah, so I got to talk with the big new thing that I'm plugging this week, because I had a cover story for Parade with Josh Duhamel, which was
Star of Buddy Games.
Star of Buddy Games. I did talk to him about Buddy Games. It did not make, shocker, did not make the final cut of the story. But you know what they say, 30 for you, 1 for me. And that was the
Mhm.
1 for me, was talking about Buddy Games, because he plays he's got a new Netflix show called Ransom Canyon, where he plays this like solitary, taciturn ranch owner. And I'm like, oh, you should add a bunch of like mechanical bull riding and lassoing to Buddy Games next year. And he's like, all right, I'm going to do that now. I didn't even think about that. So, fortunately, if some of his friends end up getting like whiplash or
Yeah, he
breaking
does
their
Buddy
necks.
Games in real life with his friends every
Exactly. That's where the concept came from. So I talked to him about that. That was a really nice chat. That's up at parade.com, as well as all my usual musings about Survivor, about The Amazing Race, which is happening right now, other random interviews. I talk with, I don't know, are you guys the Pit guys, part of the Pit crew?
My
You watch
wife started
Pit?
watching it, but no.
I didn't watch VR, so I'm not in the pit crew.
Yeah, so I first of all, I would really recommend it. It's one of my favorite shows of the year. But I got to talk with one of the breakout stars is actually Taylor Dearden, who's Bryan Cranston's daughter. So I got to talk with maybe she's the Richie Rich, I suppose, of the Pit, but from that perspective.
Nepo
But
baby.
exactly. But I talked to her. She's like the fan favorite breakout character of the show. So I talked to her. There's many more interviews to come. Reality Flash, which is like my big reality breaking news podcast here on RHAP, Got to Get Out, is out at the time that we are talking. And I have a special Reality Flash episode where I talked with Omarosa.
Wow.
Wow.
Believe it or not, gentlemen, it was her 20th year of reality TV when she Got to Get Out. And so she reflected upon why she agreed to do this for the anniversary and what to expect from the show. And I'll also be back over the weekend to do a podcast with Jenny and Chappelle about why you should check out Got to Get Out. If Omarosa's, pitch did not necessarily work for you, allow us to be relievers, in a manner of speaking. Speaking of a previous RAANAP guest, Adam Ottavino. Outside of that, from a scripted perspective, doing Down the Hatch every week. Speaking of Starbuck with Josh Wigler, and The Last of Us is coming back for season 2. Not a lot of pets in the apocalypse. As much as we were talking about dogs and cats surviving, nary an animal to be seen. But that's fine, because this is a very bleak yet hopeful show, and I don't know if my heart could possibly take it. But myself and Grace Leader are covering that every weekend, and I'm sure many, many more random podcast appearances to come. And also, hell, I'll schlep this out at the end. I'm on Cameo. I haven't done a Cameo in a while, but if for whatever reason you want me to roast more pets, I will attempt.
Or
fridges. If you want me to roast anything, I will roast myself if you pay me enough money. I'll just have to suck my nipple while I do it. If you pay me to suck my own nipple, I'll do it.
You'll get kicked off Cameo, Mike. Don't do it. That's a different website.
Is there like terms and conditions for Cameo?
I think you have to move over to OnlyFans for that if you're making biscuits.
It's honestly a when, not if, at a certain perspective. If the demand's there, if somehow the demand is there. I don't know where we got onto this topic, but a pleasure as always, gentlemen.
Okay. Mike, great to have you here for this. Thank you all so much for listening for the Pet Roast. Come back next week for rating of the They're rating the fridges, and we will let you know. What's the scale of the fridge? Are we giving like a report card on the fridge?
It's a good question.
1 to 10?
I think you
Yeah.
rate it on like a scale of coolness, right? Like, I guess that depends on if it's
Temperature.
Is the coldest stuff the worst? Is it the coldest takes almost?
Mm-hmm. Certified fresh. Are we giving you like a tomato
Oh
score?
yeah,
I
it
like
could be a
that.
tomato score. We could do the
Yeah.
tomato meter.
Okay. All right. How many boxes of baking soda we're giving?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or
All right.
ketchup.
Find out next week on Rob and Akiva Need a Podcast. Make sure you're subscribed. RobandAkiva.com. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye. This is RHAP. We know reality TV.